Hello, my name is Darren Barefoot and I'm presenting this short screencast to talk about the DotEco profile system. The profile system is a reflection of the DotEco community. Everyone who registers a DotEco web address also gets a DotEco profile. In fact, it's part of the process of setting up your DotEco website, whatever you're using that for. Before you do that, you need to create a DotEco profile. So the DotEco profiles are publicly facing web pages, and they reflect the DotEco community's commitment to environmental action and transparency. So this is the DotEco profiles homepage. You can find it at profiles.eco, and you can use this site to kind of browse through and explore existing profiles. We've got some recent profiles that have been completed here, and some case studies, and you can also sort these profiles by the United Nations Sustainability Goals, or SDGs. I also wanted to share with you what a typical profile looks like just before we go through the process. So this is the completed profile for C-Semester.eco. They're an off-campus educational institution, and a lot of their work involves taking students out in these tall ships for a semester at sea. So they've completed this page. They've included part of their story. They've identified which of these SDGs, these sustainability priorities, they're working on. They have discussed what current environmental actions they're taking and which planned ones they have. They've listed partnerships. They've identified where their locations are. Their locations are a little unorthodox because they have a headquarters in Massachusetts, but they're also active in 2 oceans. So the profile system enables you to add as many locations as you want. If you have a number of branch offices or chapters in different states, that's possible. And down here at the bottom, you can provide website details, social, and there's an indication of when they took the DotEco pledge, which I'll come back to in a minute. So that's a typical DotEco profile. Now let's walk through the process of creating our own. The first step is you'll receive an email from us like this after you purchase your DotEco domain, regardless of what domain retailer you buy it from. So you receive an email like this. I've created a sample site called barefootsolar.eco. That'll be what we'll create a profile for today. And to begin, we just click this button. So this is the first step of the activation process. You can see that it's already filled in my name and email address, and I'm just going to go ahead and add a password here. And I'll click Get Started. And this just gives you a little timeline of the steps within the process of creating a DotEco profile. So we'll get started with the actual details. Step 1, we need to describe who we are, and we can be a company or a nonprofit organization, an educational institution, a government agency, or an individual. So like I said, our imagined company is called Barefoot Solar, and we're going to say that we're a business. Moving along. And now we choose where we're going to be located. So I'm going to pick a sunny part of the world and pick Béziers, France. So you can see the locations are suggested here. So I'm going to pick this one. And let's say we also have some solar panels outside of Montpellier in France. So I've added a couple locations. Moving along. And so these are the sustainability priorities we're working on. As mentioned, these are taken directly from the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. This seemed like a great kind of data set that we could stand on the shoulder of those giants and just work with that existing categorization system. So I have a solar company. So let's say I'm interested in sustainable cities and communities. I'm definitely for affordable and clean energy. And maybe we do some innovative work at my solar company. So we have industry, innovation, infrastructure. And we'll just pick those 3 for now. Scroll down and move on to the pledge. So you can see here there's a kind of summary of what we've completed, right? This is the domain I have, barefootsolar.eco. It's owned by Barefoot Solar. We have a business based here and here, and we're working on these kind of goals. And the pledge is what we ask you to take as part of the DotEco profile process and part of joining the DotEco community. And as you can see, it reads, we pledge to support positive change for the planet and to be honest when sharing information on environmental actions. So I'm going to click I agree with that, and I'm going to click accept and activate my profile. And it's really that simple. My basic profile is now completed. You can see the URL and the sustainability priorities, locations, and the fact that I've taken the pledge down here at the bottom. Now I can edit my profile and add other elements. One of the most important ones is adding a background image. So there's this switch at the top of the page that I can make live once my .eco website is live, right? We don't want to feature a live URL at the top of the page before your website is ready. So I'm going to leave that as no. So I'm going to go ahead and change that background image. So I click upload. Pick a background image. You can see the ideal dimensions there. It should be kind of quite rectangular in shape because, as you might imagine, it fits in that rectangle at the top of the page. So click Finish Editing. And now you can see the image I uploaded in the background of the page. Right? Let's do one more detail on my profile before we wrap up. We can add your story. Right? So this is kind of an about section, right? It's relatively short, it's 500 characters, but I can say we are working on bringing clean energy to France through our solar installations across the Southwest. And you might imagine I might type some more there and then finish that off. And that also immediately gets published to this page. And I can add certifications, memberships, environmental actions partners, websites, social channels, and so forth. So of course, you need to complete a profile to make your .eco site live, but we also encourage people to perhaps return later with more information and check back on it regularly to ensure that it's up to date. The more complete and robust your .eco profile is, the likelier you are to make connections with other members of the .eco community and take advantage of the various opportunities, from the kind of networking partnership opportunities to the more practical search engine optimization possibilities that a .eco profile provides. So, thanks very much for listening. You can learn more about the profile system by visiting profiles.eco.